We all know how important relationships are in this business. So how do we make sure that those relationships stay healthy and productive over the long haul? It can help to think of your relationship with others like a bank. And just like your regular bank, you want to make sure that it's full and rich so that when the day comes that you need something from it, there's something there to be had. Let's talk about the relationship bank and how small tokens of appreciation can add up to big change. The relationship bank is just like the piggy bank you had when you were a kid, only instead of being filled with nickels and dimes, this bank is filled with goodwill. You need to make deposits to this bank on a regular basis to make sure that it's full so that when the time comes, you can make withdrawals from this bank that will be useful to you and your business. Remember when we talked about the trust equation and the things you can do to build trust with others? Well, everything you do in the trust equation is essentially a deposit that you make into the relationship bank. Things like being likable, being generous, and being consistent. So taking time to talk with accounts and their customers about their day, that's a way to build goodwill and make a deposit into the bank. Being generous, doing favors, taking care of the little things that make their store work. Those moments of generosity are deposits into the relationship bank. Being consistent. Every time you deliver on a promise, you're making a deposit into that relationship bank. It's important to make deposits as often as possible. Just like a regular bank, eventually we're going to want to take something out, but we can only take something out if there's something there to be taken. Otherwise, our account goes into debt. The good news is, all those things we do, they add up over time. And just like our trust equation is made stronger over time, our bank is made stronger over time as well. It generates interest the more we put in. So make little tokens of deposits every time you visit an account. Ask yourself, what can I do on this visit to make sure my bank is a little more full when I leave? That way, when the day comes that you need to make a withdrawal, there'll be plenty in the bank for you to take from. Of course, just like there are deposits into our relationship bank, there are also withdrawals. The difference is that withdrawals can happen in one of two ways, intentionally or unintentionally. Let's start with the intentional withdrawals. We make an intentional withdrawal from our relationship bank anytime we need something from an account. So when we want to make a new placement, get a little extra floor space, maybe run that promo that's a part of our MBO, perhaps it's about making sure that we get the best backroom position or are allowed to check in straight from the invoice instead of having to count the entire pallet. Whatever the little favor is we need, it's a withdrawal against the relationship bank. And remember, we can't make a withdrawal if there's nothing there to withdraw from. That's why constant deposits are important, so that when we need a favor, when we need something for our business, there's something there to be drawn on. The other kind of withdrawal is the unintentional withdrawal. Look, sometimes things just don't go right. We make a mistake, something out of our hands takes place, and we have to let our accounts down. In those moments, we're withdrawing on that goodwill that we've earned. And again, if there's no goodwill in the bank, it just becomes a debt of disappointment. So it's important to keep that bank full of deposits. That way, when things go wrong, when mistakes get made, when errors happen, or when we have to tell our accounts no, we have a bank of goodwill to draw from that keeps us from going into the red. The other kind of withdrawal is the unintentional withdrawal. It happens. We can't always give our accounts everything they want. Sometimes we have to say no. Sometimes we can't make good, and sometimes we simply make a mistake. In those moments, we're asking for a credit of goodwill from our accounts. And if there's nothing in the bank, well, then we go into the red real fast. The concept of the relationship bank is so powerful because it reminds us of how important it is to make constant deposits into the goodwill of our accounts so that when the day comes when we want to, or frankly need to withdraw, there's something there that we can rely on. The small tokens of appreciation you add by being likable, generous, and consistent will add up over time to create big change in your relationship with an account. And that relationship will be there when you need it most. So, fill that piggy bank every time you visit, every account you go to. Find ways you can make small tokens of appreciation add up to big change.